Okay, my fellow Tabarians, I'm putting this at the beginning because it failed during the live, but so you will know the record that I'm keeping every morning, and also the stuff that I used about the data harvesting, which is going to be the new, standard instead of gold standard. It's the data harvesting. That's what it's going to be used for the ALEF-TAV, the electronic Bitcoin, that the Great Reset is coming to. So here it goes. Without further ado, let me put it in here. All right, let's see. Okay, yes, recording. I put it here. All right. So I woke up earlier, about an hour earlier today, because my bladder was full already, and so I had to. So this is how much I got it today. You can see a little bit more than yesterday, and so we'll see how much I lost. But yeah, you have to be circulating it all day, not let it not drop. Well, I do use a little bit of that to shave, because now it's really good for shaving oil. It's a smooth skin. It doesn't create any bumps or anything like that. It's pretty good for that. So this is the old. I use it for shave all the time anyhow. Since I started doing this years ago. So that's all I use it for. It doesn't go into the body, but the rest of it goes into the body. It's recirculating. And so let me see how much is the weight today. All right. Today, 271.2. 271.2 was 276.2, so it's 5 pounds. Alright, so that's not bad. 5 pounds. Well, 4 pounds less yesterday. So since I started Monday with 280. Yesterday, Tuesday, was 271 and 276.2. And now it's 271.2. A total of 9 pounds. Pretty much, yeah. Not bad, And this is just the beginning of the day, Wednesday, so we'll see. So that's wonderful. All right.
Which is kind of sinister. And he's, putting a lot of satellites, hundreds of satellites into orbit. He's owns tens of thousands of ground antenna that are not there. What one of his companies is promising is that they will be able to do surveillance with 1 second delay on every corner of the earth, literally every corner of the earth. And he also, and 5G is not about helping you download your video game quickly. That's what they're telling you on these glossy ads on TV, but that has nothing to do. What do you care if it takes you 20 seconds or 10 seconds to download a video game? It's not going to really change your life. 5G has nothing to do with that. 5G is about surveillance, and it's about data harvesting. The biggest repository of wealth in the world right now is not gold, it's not oil, it's data. And we now have a capacity by connecting all of these devices. It's called the connectedness of things. You connect your Apple Watch to the internet. You connect your microwave oven, it's a smart microwave. You connect your Alexis, which is listening to your conversations all day. Your Siri, which is listening to your cell phone, which is listening to your conversations. You know what your buying habits are. You know your heart rate. You know everything about you, and all that information is data that, if it is characterized in an archive, is useful and saleable, because it's telling these companies the behaviors that will trigger buying reactions by you. They know specifically how to target you, where to target you, what time of the day, what kind of music that you like, what is going to appeal to you and get your attention and get you to buy stuff. And those algorithms are so powerful that they're almost irresistible. And that's what he's harvesting. So he's going to be able to look at, through facial recognition, have complete control of our society.
Pow pow goes the powerhouse, and the COVID-19 man has come to deliver you from the empty land, from the ones who have been silenced to the promised land of the ALEF-TAV, which is the original place for the soul of a man, where he can now get his jubilee and abide safe like he's never been, in the power of the Father, in the powerhouse, cause that's what Word Trick, T.R.U.T.H, he's the ALEF-TAV, we're connected. Word Trick, T.R.U.T.H, in the powerhouse, we're connected. Truth in the Torah where it is, that's right. And whether you like it or not, I just don't give a damn, cause in this thing, the end is gonna be for sure. It's got a date before the song began to score. This ain't no lie, we about to fly, cause in the truth there's nothing that can be denied. Here's the COVID-19 man, is hooking you up to the ALEF-TAV, to the powerhouse, with you waving. The COVID-19 man is gonna hook you up, cause that's what Word Trick, T.R.U.T.H, in the ALEF-TAV, we're connected. Word Trick, T.R.U.T.H, to no one else I'm genuflecting. Word Trick, T.R.U.T.H, to the powerhouse I'm connected. And then I want to get your power back, cause you will find in there the powerhouse not scared. You won't be silenced, nobody can touch what you will find in there. Gets to cut the masking back of lies, the righteous now they cries, cause the COVID-19 man is gonna hook you up to the powerhouse. Live the power show, ride this mule around. And welcome to HDTV 28 Adhere Torah volts 613. All of you are welcome. Glad you made it. A lot of information I wanted to share. I didn't know where to begin, but here we are. Good to see Brian and Vienna. Sorry to hear you getting sick. Hope you get better, but I'm glad you made it. All right, let's go. The next. And hello, my fellow Tabarians. It's good to have you joining us today. You know, we've been broadcasting every day, and it will continue to be like this for the longest that I can make it. You know, as you can see the progression of what's going on as I'm doing the Zero campaign, which is to gather all souls and demonstrate in myself how it is that you also have the ability to be, autonomous. That means in self-control and be self-sufficient, so that you will never be afraid of any economy or any leader of any economy that uses fear tactics, to have you do their bidding. And so all of that will be that thing of the past. So I have chosen the zero campaign because I'm using the Jopim element, which I will explain. That's what make Jopim again. It starts for your own perfect medicine, which is the title of a book written by Martha Christie, and I've been speaking about that. But I also put it as make Jopim again means make your own physicality magnificent again. Have that body of a baby, that's full of growth hormones and everything to face this world. You see, that's the whole idea. So we're going to be discussing this further as we go along. And let me go to one of my main windows here so we can start talking and see how everything looks. Guys, I did the arrangement of this camera very interesting right now, so we'll see how it's going to look. All right. All right, very well. Oh, it's not bad. You see, I have as you can see, there's a circle there. That's the light that was given to the COVID-19 group by Annie Crispin. So I use it. The lighting is better than the little thing Mickey Mouse thing that I have worked on using before. But you can put it right in the middle of it. You can put the camera. So I figured a way of doing it yesterday, and today I'm doing a little bit different, which is better situated. And I think it's coming out pretty good. I can see, it's not bad. All right. So here we are, you guys, We're working on this. Let me see if I can get some pictures that I'm going to use today. Just get them ready here. Hold on a second. Give me a minute. Get my folders ready so we can talk about this today. Give me a second here. Let me get together. Let me go to the right folders that I need to get the pictures from. And that would be here. Give me a minute. Yeah. All right. Now. Okay, give me 1 second. Getting all my act together here today. There's a lot of stuff going on today. So let me get my folders here. We can talk about the things we're going to talk today. Here we go. All right. And so today we're looking at this picture here. Let me see. Put it on the screen, which is the main one that I focused there on the beginning. So here we are. That's today's title, AHAT, the COVID-19-MAN, the Confession of Faith, or the Admission of Fact. And since we're teaching you the Torah here, we work on the admission of facts. We find out, we study the facts, and then we act upon them, And acting upon the facts means you're accepting the fact, I'm going to receive, therefore, the benefits of acting and accepting those facts. So we're reading about Martha Christie right now. Martha M. Christie. And you see with the Martha, when you take the initials of the letter, Martha starts with M. That's what in the Hebrew Bible, that's solutions. Okay, and then the next letter, consonant that she has is the resh, because M-A-R, So the resh will be for the head or the main or the principal. And then she has a tab, because the next gets the T. Okay, then it has a hey, because after the T there's a H, And so if you take all of that, the initials, the consonants, M, resh, tab, hey, that's the solutions of the mindset, commitment, because the tab is to make commitment or contract, to give life. So the solutions of the mindset of the head's commitment to give life. Okay? And then she's got a middle initial of M, which M stands for mem, which is solutions. Okay? And then her last name is Christie. And the word Christie comes from the Messiah in Greek. Okay, so the whole name that she has really, when you think about it, that I'm discussing this whole book and this whole fasting that I'm doing, which I'm documenting every day for you to see it before your eyes, is I'm offering you the solutions of the mindset, commitment to give life, the solutions of the Mashiach. All right, interesting that that's what her name means. All right, that's what we're naming. I'm going to repeat it again because this is very essential. The consonants are M, Resh, Tab, and He, the main consonants. And they're the solutions of the head or the mindset, okay? The solutions of the head or the mindset, commitment, or objective to give life. He is life, or breath, to give life. And then the middle initial is M, which means the solutions, and her last name, Christi, means of the Messiah, of the Mashiach. And that's the idea. So the Moshiach job is to exalt the Torah and to exalt the letters of the Torah and the meanings of the function of the letters. And we are doing this in the very moment right now. We're engaged in that task. This is what all Emunah in action is all about. Because as you can see, Emunah here, that letter Emunah, that's in the Hebrew the word for faith. Okay? And when I use it here as confessions of faith on top, I'm using it in the way that this world understands it at this hour, which is a subjective experience, something that you know because you feel it, and nobody can tell where it is because it's your own experience, and they have to go, that is your subjective experience. But they can't really tell if you believe in something or not. They just let you go with what you're confessing, and they'll respect you for that. I believe, and I know that I know that I know. And those a subjective experience. You cannot be, experimentally done in this world, and you can show it experimentally is something that you have experienced on your own. So that's the faith that this world has come up with. But the problem with that faith, when it's just the way you feel, because I know that I know, I accepted the Lord, and I know that I know in my heart of hearts, it's all within you. Nobody can tell. They have to accept your feeling, have to accept your subjective experience. It's nothing that you can project in this world. So this kind of a faith has complications. Because that means if you start accepting people that are telling you that for their different religions, then you have to accept people, when they come later on, when they're the worst things a society can produce, when they say, I do not feel that I am a man or female, I'm a transgender, I am of another gender. Today I feel like I am this gender, I am this kind of gender. And you're going to have to accept them. That's why laws are written. All of this is the breakdown of taking a faith that is subjective, that is based upon an experience of your own. Then that breaks down, and all these other people that come up with crazy feelings of what they are, they demand to be accepted. Because we accepted them when they had the notion that they were going to be religious and have a connection of God with whatever little thing their faith, their religious taught them. So that's why I work with the Torah. We are presented with the facts, and these are a mission of facts, of things that are objective, things that people have tried and they have worked in the workplace, in the conducting of an economy, and everything, and that's what I give you. And that's what the word Emunah, okay, that we're looking at the word Emunah, is made from the Aleph, that's the first letter, okay, and then it comes the Mem for solutions, and the U sound comes from the Tab. I mean, not the Tab, the Vav, for connectedness. The number six letter. Let me see if I can put it in my screen here. I may have my thing over here. So this is the Vav. Okay, understand? This one here in the corner, and that's for hooking up or connecting. Okay, hooking up or connecting. That's interesting. When I put it in front of the light, everything goes black in the background. Hey, that's good. I like it. So this is the Vav. So that's for the U sound. Okay, so it has the Aleph here, which is on this side, okay, and then the Mem, which is below here. You can see the Mem all the way in the bottom, okay, and then the U comes with the Vav, and then the Nun, which is right next, to the Mem, the Nun there, that's for seed, or the continuity, or the generation, because it's what follows after, and then it has the He, okay. And the He is just, this guy, the one right next to the vowel over there, okay, for life, all right. So when you put all the words together, all right, and I come to life, okay, this is good. All right, so when you put Aleph, Mem, and the U, which is for the connectedness, okay, when you put all of that together, okay, and then the Nun and the He, it means the strong solutions, that hold, because a nail is for holding, or hook, The strong solutions that hold the seed for life, or the instructions, because in a seed that you plant is the instructions of what a tree is going to look like. So when you work for a man-made plant, there are instructions. There's an office that holds the seed of what you are producing in there, the service that you're giving. So is the strong solutions that holds onto the seed or the instructions for activation, because that's what life is about, to make things work. So in any job, that is made of a strong building, which represents the Aleph Father, every position that you're trained, every position that is open there, and you go there and they train you there, the strong solutions that hold onto, how to give the instructions to make things work. That's the word emuna. That's the word faith in objective, palpable, tangible action. It's not a subjective experience. That's the Hebrew word in the functionality of each one of the letters. So that's the real meaning of faith. So as I take on this campaign of making you become aware of your autonomous or self-sufficiency that you have, I'm using Martha M. Christie and her experience of the Jopim, your own perfect medicine, to start this campaign. So I have received the instructions, you understand? And now I have my job to do. Remember that the COVID-19-MAN began last year. My first sermon, I did it on what happens to be Brianna's birthday. By the way, happy birthday here publicly. We love you in this group, and I know you're sick, but we're happy that you join us. So I had no idea that was her birthday. I found out this year that that's her birthday. But my first sermon was on March 22nd. And prior to that week, on St. Patrick's Day, that's when it was understood to me that what God was going to do, it was going to destroy the external currency system and the value that is given, in order that He will establish that all values and all high esteem of everything should be given only to Him as the Aleph-Bet, and not at the ALEF-TAV, which is the electronic Bitcoin that's trying to supplant Him nowadays, which is the objective of what is called right now the Great Reset. But little do they know that God was preparing the COVID-19-MAN to, first of all, give birth to the anchor man, because now I have a TV. So you have to have the anchor man. So He prepared me at the beginning. I was studying the Hebrew. I'm still doing it. So I will be anchored, or attached. An anchor man, that means you're hooked and I'm attached. I'll be anchored to the Torah. And so I am the anchor man. So He prepared me for that. And then on the birth, the 280 day after the 17th, which it was December 21st, okay? On December 21st, you remember when they had the big light appear in the sky that have not shown up for 800 years? We were talking about we're calling the Star of Bethlehem and everything. That was the official 9 months of the COVID-19-MAN, and that's when HDTV 28 was registered and was born. And I presented now everything through the eyes of the HDTV 28, Hadavarim, Torah vote. And votes stands for value optimized legal tender surplus, because the Word of God is our currency. It passes through our soul and never ending, bringing value to everything else that comes out of it. Because the Aleph-Bet is the father and creator of everything. So that's why I call it. So I presented that. So I was prepared as an anchor man. Then, the whole idea of HDTV was born, and it was born exactly 9 months from the time that I came up with the idea. So that was an amazing thing. So now that this week, this Monday, I started this whole thing, and I start giving you, because I'm prepared to do this, I'm going to bring you the strong solutions, that connects to the instructions for your life as an independent, autonomous, self-sufficient individual that God made you when He made you an Aleph-Bet and a cellionaire. Okay, I have the solutions in me. I'm not going to pass it down to you. So I'm going to put emuna. So the thing is, we have the ehad I've been explaining. That's the economist that constantly houses all definitions. That's who God is. And because God is an economist, he runs an economy. And so all of our cells have that capacity to do that for the DNA. Every cell is an economy that constantly or carefully houses, that means protects, all the definitions of the DNA. So that the perfect definition of what the DNA stands passes on to the next cell. And so in doing that, that's the task of the economy that it has. And in doing that job, it does the emuna too. So that's the position that it has to do the strong solutions to hold onto the seed of life. So you see, all of that is connected. Okay? And so what do? They do the office of parenting. That's why the do-av is there. Do the office of the ALEF-TAV, the office of parenting. Because that's what all business in the electric world do. They go to the patent office. That's the office of parenting. For them to guard their intellectual secrets and to guard it and to keep it there. But they have to take those secrets and put it in the people like us that have souls. Because we are the power plant made in the image of the powerhouse, the ALEF-TAV. And so we are the ones that take in, whatever intellectual property that people have, and we have to become a parent to that child of an idea that this entrepreneur or this corporate owner had. And therefore, we do the office of the parenting in the external world. Everybody that has a job that has to follow instruction is what they're doing. So they're doing the office of parenting. All right? So once you have that, you have the economy that is set up and constantly housing all definitions, then you will start doing the office of parenting, taking care of that idea. And therefore, you establish a position. Every position in any company that enables you to do the job at hand is faith. Because one of the translations of faith in the Old Testament, which is emuna, they translated in several translations. It's translated as faith, it's translated as trust, it's translated as confidence, okay, and it's translated as set office. Because, the Kohen of the priest have a set office to do the job of the sacrifices and all of that, and teaching the Torah to all the nations. So they had a set office. And that was the same word for emuna. The thing is that people do not read Hebrew, so they don't understand. They think that faith is only found once in Habakkuk 2:4, when it says that the just or the righteous, shall live by faith. In the original meaning of it is the righteous will make things come to life, because it's hajj, live, which was its cause to come alive. The righteous will cause things to come alive through faith. And that's perfectly understood when he says, how can you cause things to come to life or to be activated? By doing the strong solutions that hold on to the seed of life. Because that's why you're doing a job. When you go to work in a position, they teach you the strong solutions to make everything, the product work or the service be performed. So that's the work of emuna. So when you do the work of emuna, you are doing the job of making things function, making things be activated. And so in that verse in Habakkuk 2, Habakkuk 2:4, when it says the just shall live by faith, it also says the righteous shall cause things to come to life by emuna. So you see that's something that has to do with the here and now. And what was the job of Habakkuk? It was to present the character of the ALEF-TAV. So he understood. That's what the righteous does. This is my job. Because that's the prophet that was complaining about, hey, everybody seems to be getting away with murder. The people that don't do the right things seem to be in high positions. He was talking similar to what we have nowadays, the people that are running the mule, like Bill Gates and all these people in high places. They seem to do all kinds of things and get away with it, and then they marketed themselves as becoming philanthropists, and they just seem to have it all easy. So he was complaining about a situation like that. But then he realized what God, placed him in that position, because God is doing everything, to control everything. Those that are not representing him and those that are representing him. And all of that is part of Hadabarim 28, Deuteronomy 28. Okay, so once he understood that, then he knows, okay, so they are the instruments that God uses to bring to destruction. Like I told you in Hadabarim 28, there's 14 verses, there's the number of David, 14 verses that are dedicated to the blessings that God performs to those that listen and obey his word, that hear him. But those that do not hear him, then he performs all the rest. I believe that the 56, okay, or I believe it's 54 other verses, that had to do, it's almost 4 times 14. It's 56, but I mean 4 times 14, but 54 other verses have to do with the curses that God is going to perform on those that do not hear him and present his character. So that's how you understand that God creates about 14 verses, to hook you up to all the blessings that he has for you, and then 54 verses to tell you the curses and the way he's going to get rid of you. Because that's exactly what it says, that he runs the keeping of your life and the destruction of your life. In the first 14 verses, he tells you how he's going to keep you alive in him, and in the other 54 verses, he tells you how he's going to get rid of you, because the word is always in you. But since you don't want to represent the character of the ALEF-TAV, then he works an economy that's going to get rid of you. And this is where people entered in, okay? People like, that do the Agenda 21. If you ever read about the Agenda 21, that's what is written by the elite. You can Google that Agenda 21 and read it. And this is what is written by the elites of how they're going to manage humanity. They're going to get rid of a lot of people. So we are in that process. And one of the way they address people in there, the regular consumer, they call it eaters. Because that's what most people do the more. They just consume. That's what they brag about in their social media. I ate this, I went to this place, and I consume all the nice elements that surround me to make me feel like I'm relaxing. I went to this vacation spot. So everything is about consuming or eating away. So you're called the eater, in the Agenda 21, because you eat away or consume, that your basic job is to be a consumer. And people proudly call this United States the #1 consuming nation of the world. And so because you're just an eater, that means, and you're trusting this government to take care of you, well, they can just take care of just so many. So the idea is to dwindle down society, from maybe we have almost close to 8 billion people in the world right now. They have a plan to, I think, take it down to about 500 million, and control it from there. Something like that. But you have to read it. But in there, they call you eater, okay? Because that's all you became, a consumer, since Adam and Eve ate of the tree of the knowledge of what is good, what is functional, and what is not functional, decide to take that judgment upon yourself. They just became consumers, okay? Became eaters, and so the eaters, they have to be marginalized and controlled that way. And these people are used like that because they're not representing the character of God. The character of God is that one of being a producer, because God holds to all the meanings and definitions, which is the mom and dad of every word, and therefore it makes all of us producers. But it's not your main goal in life, it's not what you do in life, but eventually you're just an eater. Then these elites are set up to keep control, that the eaters don't get out of hand, so they have to be slaughtered. So that's why these things with the COVID vaccinations and all these things, in which I'm going to be talking to you right now about how I'm going to play you for today's measurement that I did, because I'm doing the YOPEM, Your Own Perfect Medicine. This is the 3rd day, and just to look there below there, you see I'm down to 271.2. I started with 280.2 on Monday, and now as Wednesday, this Wednesday morning, it's actually only like 48 hours when you think about it, because if I started Monday and I took the measurement at 5, and then I did it the whole day Monday, and then when Tuesday morning I woke up, that's a whole 24 hours there. And now I've gone down to 276.2, which I've gone, it's 4 pounds in one period of 24 hours. So then another 24 hours went, which was Wednesday morning, today when I took the measurements. So in 48 hours, I lost 9 pounds doing the jope. You know, I'm not exercising. I'm just sitting here 12 hours all day, and I'm doing the jope. And see how effective that is. You know, how many problems you have out there that in a 48-hour period, you can lose 9 pounds. You know, go ahead and tell me what I'm going to wait. It's going to take a long time. But your own perfect medicine can enable you to do that. So, yeah. And so I can't wait to see what's going to happen tomorrow. But in any case, it's getting amazing. You know, so that's what we are. So now I'm eating the instructions of God, you know, and I'm eating my own perfect medicine, which is not produced by anything this world has to offer, but by my own body. You have to be listening to the previous thing to understand what I'm referring to. So, and that, just trusting myself as a cellionaire that has the best doctor in the world, the DNA, Dr. No Ailment. Look at what this doctor is doing for me. In two periods of 24 hours. In 48 hours, I lost 9 pounds. You know, so I'm presenting you my emuna, you know, my strong solutions to take you to the job of you realizing that you are an autonomous, self-sufficient individual. And that you are an ALEF-TAV and a cellionaire, and you can trust the best doctor of the medical system that you have for your body. Okay, so that's the whole idea of what we're doing here. Let me make sure that you're listening to me, because sometimes. Okay, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 testing. I'm sorry. Okay, yeah, I'm working. Well, would have been crazy talking all this and you don't listen. But that's what I'm referring to about, you know. So we have the Agenda 21 taking place, you know, and interesting because the number 21, you know, has to do with the calf, you know, which is the hand or the palm, and that's the word for something that is approved or something that you have mastered because it's the use of the hand. And then the number 1, which is the Aleph. So it means an approved power. So Agenda 21 is approved power that God has given these people like Bill Gates and everything that has to say part of the family that deals with the abortions. Now he's doing the external killing. And all of that is part of it. So I'm going to play to you this thing right now, which gives you the idea of my measurements, how it's happening so far in 48 hours. You're going to hear that. And then you're going to hear about how we are living in the age of the data harvesting, because that's the new currency. The things that you do and the things they record about your habits, that's what allows them to be able to have the ELEC-BET, the electronic Bitcoin, and to have this great reset be about to happen, because they know already your habits. And that's why they are creating a whole digital earth right now because of that. All right? So because you constantly decided to become an eater. Now, it's interesting that, as I told you in Habakkuk 2:4, the word, the just shall live, it means the just shall make something alive. It's not just because if you in the Bible, what you have is what you do. If you have life, you make things alive. If you have death, you bring things, you kill things. Okay? So that's what it says in the verse, the day that thou wilt eat of that tree, thou shalt surely die. That word surely die in the Hebrew is mut. It's because when he said it two times, it's seriously. Mut is to die. But also mut is to kill or to slay. That's also the same thing. So mut is you shall surely kill. So God says, the day that you eat of that, you know, you're going to separate from me. You're not going to be in my mindset, in my awareness of being a covering onto all things that I have made. You're going to be in the awareness of the snake, of being, you know, a room, naked. And from that awareness, you're going to use the alphabet to try to do everything to find coverings in this world. A covering for yourself, a covering for your house. So everything, that's why the insurance industries are the most richest industries in the world. Because they are there for the job of covering your nakedness, for all the things that you love. So, so when you separate your mind from the Aleph-Bet, which keeps you become a mut. You become a killer. That's what God says. because you're not going to be with me, who caused all things to come to life. You are going to be mut. You're going to be killing. We understand that as he died and separated from God, and that's what you happen to. But actually, if you're dead, you kill things. And if you have life, you bring things to life. That's how the Bible works. You don't have something just as a name. You have something that is functional. That's why if you're separated from God, you're dead, which means you don't keep the definitions and meanings of everything. You're only an eater and a consumer of the product. That's all you know. So you're only an echo chamber. You're nothing better than a parrot. And God made you to be better than a parrot. He made you to be a parent, not a parrot. So if you're only going to be a parrot, somebody's going to put you in a little jail there, and you're going to be cute, repeating the products like an echo chamber. Toyota, Nissan. So you know the names of all the brands, but you know how to make them. So you are in this echo chamber as a parrot. Because you don't know the meaning of words, you are not a parent to society. And if you're not a parent, you're going to be discarded. Because there's just so many parrots that you can have, and not too many cages for all of them. All right, so that's how it works. So listen right now, and then I'll share this with you. Pay attention, and then we come back in a little while to some more information here. Let me take you to the cinema here. Let me see. Hold on a second. Yeah, here we go. All right, so yeah, we'll take you to the cinema for what we're going to talk about today. Here we go.
All right. So I woke up earlier, about an hour earlier today, because my bladder was full already. And so I had to. So this is how much I got it today. You can see a little bit more than yesterday. And so we'll see how much I lost. But yeah, you have to be, they're circulating it all day. Not let it, not drop. Well, I do use a little bit of that to shave, because it's really good for shaving oil. It's a smooth skin. It doesn't create any bumps or anything like that. It's pretty good for that. So this is the old.
Which is kind of sinister. And he's, putting a lot of satellites, hundreds of satellites into orbit. He's owns tens of thousands of ground antenna that are not there. What one of his companies is promising is that they will be able to do surveillance with 1 second delay on every corner of the earth, literally every corner of the earth. And he also, and 5G is not about helping you download your video game quickly. That's what they're telling you on these glossy ads on TV, but that has nothing to do. What do you care if it takes you 20 seconds or 10 seconds to download a video game? It's not going to really change your life. 5G has nothing to do with that. 5G is about surveillance, and it's about data harvesting. The biggest repository of wealth in the world right now is not gold, it's not oil, it's data. And we now have a capacity by connecting all of these devices. It's called the connectedness of things. You connect your Apple Watch to the internet. You connect your microwave oven, it's a smart microwave. You connect your Alexis, which is listening to your conversations all day. Your Siri, which is listening to your cell phone, which is listening to your conversations. You know what your buying habits are. You know your heart rate. You know everything about you, and all that information is data that, if it is characterized in an archive, is useful and saleable, because it's telling these companies the behaviors that will trigger buying reactions by you. They know specifically how to target you, where to target you, what time of the day, what kind of music that you like, what is going to appeal to you and get your attention and get you to buy stuff. And those algorithms are so powerful that they're almost irresistible. And that's
All right. So I woke up earlier, about an hour earlier today, because my bladder was full already. And so I had to. So this is how much I got it today. you can see a little bit more than yesterday. And so we'll see how much I lost. But yeah, you have to be they're circulating it all day. Not let it not drop. Drop. Well, I do use a little bit of that to shave because now really good for shaving oil. It's a smooth skin. It doesn't create any bumps or anything like that. It's pretty good for that. So this is the old.
Which is kind of sinister. And he's, putting a lot of satellites, hundreds of
Okay, let me take you back because I think the recording of this thing did not give you complete. Let me get you back to the window and I'll explain to you what was happening here. Give me a second. Sorry about that. All right. For some reason, it did not record the whole thing, and only a segment of each. But in any case, the first part was me, and I was going to show you when I weighed myself, and it showed like that. When you look at the scale, it was 271.2, so that didn't show that. But the other thing is this guy, Robert Kennedy. And I put that in there because, let me take the picture back here. I put that in there because he talks about data harvesting, and at that segment, that's when he started talking about all the plans that Bill Gates is doing, and because what they have, to put everything in the ELEC-BIT, the electronic, cryptocurrency, the Bitcoin thing, and to do all of that, so they have harvesting the data. That's the new currency, that's it's no longer going to be a gold standard or petro standard, but it is your own, desires and your own words. So they have collected all your words as a consumer, as an eater. That's why social media exists, and it was given out for free. So they will be the ones collecting all your words. That's collecting your data. And so they collect your ways, your words and yearnings. Because you put them out there for free. You're just expressing. You say, freedom of expression. I will say whatever I want. But you express everything as an eater and as a consumer. The places that you frequent, the products that you buy, the new experiences that you're trying here. So everything is as a consumer. So this is the data harvesting. And so when they say that the scientists are creating a whole digital world right now to be a duplicate of the earth, in a digital environment, and say, we're doing it to predict climate change. No. What they're interested in, all these people, the scientists are being paid by big pharma. All of them are, and that's what explained by Martha Christie. You remember that the book, I read a lot about that. I'm going to read another chapter tomorrow. We're going to be reading that. Tomorrow she's going to be talking about how the pharmaceutical company uses Jopim, your own perfect medicine, to make trillions of dollars out of us. So we have this liquid gold in us, and that's what they call it, liquid gold, and they call it ultrafiltrate plasma, the Jopim. It's the urine that you have in you. And they have like 2,000 protein arrangements, even has human growth. It has everything that you can imagine. It is like being put back in your mother's womb again with those solutions, because the urine is 95% urea. Urea is the liquid where you're floating, where you're born, and where you get all your nourishment from. So when you trusting on your own perfect medicine, what happens is you're restoring, you're bringing youthfulness, you're bringing human growth hormone, and everything else that comes along with it. Everything that the baby needs for its development. It's like a second renewal. That's why I call it Operation Restore. So I'm going to be reading more about that every day. But today I'm focusing on all of that. So that's what he's talking about. And so they have gathered your own thing as an eater. So they have that. So they are making a duplicate, a digital duplicate of the whole world. So they already have you by having your words and yearnings, your words that you said to express your desires, instead of having the words and yearnings of God, the keeper of the way. Because you understand that the reason why we were made, and I'm getting to that in a minute here, is to bring success to the way, and to make the way prosperous. And what is the way? The words and yearnings of God in the Torah. That was Joshua 1:8. What does it say? This book of the law of the Torah shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For what purpose? For then thou shalt make your way, your words and yearnings that are in you, you're going to make them prosperous, and thou shalt, thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and thou shalt have good success. So that's what you were made, for the prosperity and the success of your words and yearnings when they match up with the words and desires of God. And that's what the Torah is, to take you to the words and yearnings of how God, the Father of all words and things, holds on to the meanings and definitions, so everything in this world is restored, refreshed, renewed, and kept alive. And so that's the reason for why the Torah was given. And then Joshua tells you that. He's not putting himself, because he has the name of Jesus. Joshua, that's where the first name of Jesus comes. But he's not saying, believe in me as Joshua. Trust me that no, he's telling you, pointing you to the Torah, because that's all is needed. In the Torah, in the Tanakh, the Mashiach's job is not to have people believe in the Mashiach. It's to make you just trust in the words and yearnings and desires of God, and that period. And for that, nothing else is needed. Nothing else is needed but that. And you and I already have the ability to do that. And I'm going to explain to you right now how that works. So that is the main thing. So we are here to make the way, the words and yearnings, because that's what God wants to give. When you match up with the words and yearnings of God, you are you're an insurance coverage to all the earth. Everything is going to be kept alive, because you're not here to eat away or just be a consumer in this world. You're here to take pride in all the production that your soul can bring. So you definitely got that journey going. But if you're with the snake, your words and yearnings are of the snake. You feel naked, and so you go looking for coverage. And so you guard the words and yearnings of the snake, of being a room, being naked. And then you do everything to cover that nakedness. Okay, and that's how the world is right now. Outside of the Torah, the words and yearnings line up, with the one that is naked. And this is how you create a data harvesting, because you're in that mindset. And then this digital world becomes the one that controls the climate change of the consumer. So that's why you have all this well-guided, little sponsor and commercials that come in your timeline, that they remember your habits, what you looked at before, so that they bring something similar. If you were buying up some pizza, then begin to show other pizza places. If you're looking to go places on vacation, they begin to show you other places to go to vacation. They keep track of all the things because they already know what your tendencies are, your words and yearnings, in the snake, in the outer room. But when you do what I'm doing right now, when you do for a long fast like this, and you don't depend on the products and services, that data harvesting of the eater loses value. So you can become that stone that will destroy the Mishraim, the value of Egypt. Because what Egypt is the representation of taking the value that should only be given to God and putting it in this external world, as you project your desires as a consumer on the things that the mule is bringing to your attention. Okay, so that's how we have it in this world. Okay, so let me share some of the reading today that I put at the beginning there. Let me see if I can have it here. Yeah, here we go. And this is very small here, but this is full of meaning. Remember, there's the word that I tell you, that the word 8 or ALEF-TAV, which indicates the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet, and Tav is the last one. So it means Aleph and Tav. And Tav stands for commitment, contract, objective, goal, aim. That's the last letter. And the first letter, Aleph, it stands for being the leader, being the director, you being the main person in charge of things, the leader and director. So when you put together, so the ALEF-TAV appears 7,302 times in the Tanakh. That means in the Torah and all the rest of the books, without English translation, because that was the equivalent of the English translation. So it's in the Hebrew, but that's in English. When you read any version of the Bible, I don't care if it's King James and all of that, There's 7,302 times that this word that appears in the Hebrew never appears. Okay? In any of the English translation or Spanish translation or any translation for that matter, German translation of the Bible or any translation, you won't see that because they don't know, they don't have an equivalent. So they just completely omit it. Okay? But this is a very important thing because what that means is the ALEF-TAV, it means the main objective. So I'm putting it here now. The main objective means ALEF-TAV because the leader is the main one. So the main objective or the leading aim. That's another way of saying the ALEF-TAV. We're going to give you three different ways of saying the same thing. The ALEF-TAV, which is the main objective, the leading aim, or you're aiming at, or the prime directive. You know, what you're targeting for. The prime is the leader. The prime directive, your main target. Okay? So your main objective, or your leading aim, or your prime directive as to why the truth, and truth here stands for Torah's reality, understanding to hold. So the main objective, or leading aim, or prime directive as to why the truth, that means Torah's reality, understanding to hold, is given. Okay, and what is this Torah reality, understanding to hold? That's the name of my channel, Hadavarim, Torah, Volts, 613. Because Hadavarim means two things. Hadavarim means two things in Hebrew. Okay, it's kind of hard to, it means two, it has two meanings, let's put it that way. Hadavarim has two meanings and is one and the same. And the two meanings are, Hadavarim means the words, and it also means the things. Because with God, there's nothing separated. The thing does not exist without the word. Because God is a producer, he keeps meanings and definitions, so everything is kept alive and kept in existence. So when God says Hadavarim, he's the Lord of the words and the things that came out of this word. He holds the name as an economist, and he has an economy. Like he plays in our souls and everything like that, which is the Ehad, exclusively his. So all of that. So we have that understanding. So the real understanding to have of the Torah's reality is that the word that is full of the meaning and definition is reality. And when that is not kept, when you only have a word as a sound, that word as a sound is like an idol. It's like a monument. Because just like looking at a monument does not make anything happen in this world, also you're saying a word without having its meaning and definitions do not bring any life to any product and service in this world. And so a word without a sound without the meaning and definitions in it, without the mom and dad, is just like a monument to the real word. So to God, the producer of all things, the Hadavarim are the words that are full of its meaning and definitions, and therefore things can exist. So that's your. So for God, the Torah's reality, understanding to hold, that is their reality. And all the bosses of every company, they hold on to that. They understand that the manual that tells how everything is assembled, how the business is to be run, that's what makes their business and the things from their business to be able to exist. So also the owners of company do the Hadavarim as well. Okay? So let me see here. Let me put it all the way to the top. A second so we can read it all. I want to make sure that we don't miss anything. All the way to the top. Okay. So, the main objective or leading aim or prime directive as to why the truth, which means Torah's reality, understanding to hold, is given, is for us to bond. Okay, this is the first thing. So the first thing is for us to bond or to hook up with the Aleph-Bet. Okay, and who is the Aleph-Bet? The father of all words and things. Aleph-Bet means father. Okay, or the powerhouse, right? That's why we're decked. We receive the word and we're empowered to do what it explains us to do. So that's the first one. The main objective. The first one is for us to bond or hook up with the Ab. And second, to become his conduit. That's a word that they use a lot in my job as a translator, to see that we are here to be a conduit, to what the customer is explaining. Okay, so we are in this world to do that. Let me put it here. There we go. We can still get it. Okay, good. So we are to be conduits. Okay, that means that God flows through us. Okay, let me put this in here so I can Clearly. Perfect. Okay. And so that's what we are. We're conduits. God can freely flow through us because that's how He inhabits, the praises of His people. Like He inhabits those that want to live in that mindset. So, first is for us to bond or hook up with the Ab, their Father, then become His conduit in order for Him to freely show, display, or perform His delightful work of being the F.M.T.A. That has a very important meaning, as I put here. That means the foundational meaning to all, because everything that He makes, every product that is made in the world that is full of meanings and definitions, that product goes out in the market to do a parenting care, to make life comfortable for their clients, not to make life harder. So he puts in all words that He gives with the fullness of meaning definition. He does the foundational meaning to all, which means, to ALEF-TAV, to make sure that everything lives up to be a father, or to be a father and mother to all. So that's what God delights in doing. To be a father and mother to all, that's F.M.T.A. On the foundational meaning, it says the foundational meaningfulness to all fathers. I forgot to say meaningfulness. I just noticed that. The foundational meaningfulness to all, so that everything can be like that, a father in this world. So that's what He delights to do. So number one, to hold us, I'm sorry, sir. Okay, to become His, for us to bond, for us to bond or hook up with the Ab, that's the first one. Second one is to become His conduit, the way that He's going to transfer through us. And third one, so that He may display and perform, His delightful work of F.M.T.A, of being a father and mother to all. Because that's what we become when you just want to hold on to words. You'll become an F.M.T.A in this world. You become a father and mother to all. Because you hold on to words and definition, you're there to make life comfortable for your fellow man. But basically to make the life comfortable for your Maker. Because now you finally understand what He delights in. He delights in keeping definitions and meanings, and He has found a heart that resonates with Him and wants to be with Him, and He loves to be with you. Now, to make sure that this is done, because all I'm telling you is something that not only God uses, because the only way you learn a character in a movie, you gotta stick to the script, rehearse it in the mirror. You stick to the script, and then that character that you're learning, so that character, you become one with it. You become the character. You become the alphabet sequence that tells you how the character is like. So you become the character, and then that character is flowing through you. You become a conduit to that character. So you can present him in the movie, and then that thing is able to do whatever he wants to do, in you. In that sense, because he's not the father of all, he's able to show whatever crime or whatever things he did as a celebrity that had become. And so you're able to project that. So that's how the soul works in the work industry, and everything has to do in the mule. That's why the soul is a Morpheus. Morpheus from the movie, The Matrix. The word Morpheus means that changes. So a soul can be this body because it's aware of this body, but a soul can also be a car, because every car came from a soul having the instructions to make it. A soul can also be a building, because all the architects in the world that have made the building, that's the soul. So the soul shapes into everything that the alphabet tells it to become. So everything that is out in the world, I don't look at it as those things. I look out at it as the shape that the soul takes in order to make them. The soul becomes aware of its environment. You're driving a big 18-wheeler, and you encapsulate the whole area. So when you're driving, you can feel the edges. You are aware of the whole. You grow into the whole area of the vehicle. And that's how it is, And so one of the reasons that people like the babies, when they're born, they're incubated inside of water. When they're in the water, they're not aware of their body, really. That's why the shock comes when they come out and they just become aware of their nakedness. And that's the crying goes out. Because when the baby is submerged in the water, he's just connected to everything that the water is connected. He becomes aware of everything that has to do with water. So his consciousness is expandable to everything. That's why people like, if you ever see Joe Rogan, he talks about this experience where he go and he submerge, everything on the water, and then you lose consciousness of your body. These rich people can afford this kind of therapies. And then you feel like one with the whole world. It's the feeling that you get, that you're connected, of such connectedness with everything. Because you lose consciousness of your body. The water is found everywhere, so that you take upon yourself the awareness of water and you connect with everything. So that's exactly what you have as a baby. But you get into the strong solutions, the papyrus solutions, which I explained to you. That's what the parting of the Red Sea was about, to tell us about the papyrus solution, which is the Torah. When you get into the Torah, when you are submerged in the waters of the Torah, then you connect with everything. Then you the word T.R.U.T.H, the work of showing the connectedness of life. That's what you're able to do. Because T.R.U.T.H, that's what it means. The work or the task of showing or displaying the connectedness of life. And that's the whole idea. So you get into the Torah for that purpose. And I'm almost getting carried to the questions right now. So, to make sure that this is done, all you need to do is, so even to represent the character of God on earth, or to do any job, or to do a character or in a script, everybody uses this. This is what I call the admission of facts. So all the thing that is needed for you to be able to perform in any economy is not for you to be healed. No. It's not for you to be resurrected. No. None of that is needed. It's not for you to recover your eyes. Let's say you were blind. Because even blind people work and do their muna in a company. The people that work they do everything in Braille, following the instructions by Braille. They don't even have to see. Okay? So it's none of these things that are fringe benefits that are for the body. If you can see, if you can have renewal in your body, if you can be healed in your body. None of these things are needed in order for you to connect with the alphabet such way. The only thing that is needed is to adhere to the solutions you have observed. Adhere to the solutions that you have observed. Okay? And then as a potentates, as potentates, that means like prince, because you become in charge of businesses. When you learn all the solutions you have to observe, you can grow from a just regular employee all the way to the top boss. So you become a potentate or performer of this principal element. So adhering to the solutions that you observe is the principal element that makes you rise, in whatever business, including the revelation of your maker. Nothing else is needed. And guess what that is? This the meaning of adhere to solutions you have observed, that's the word Shema. Shema! Remember that? Shema is made of the shin, okay, which means it's for the teeth, for adhering to something, to clasp onto something, or to consume something, okay? And it's made of the mem, Shema. The shin is the letter for consuming or eating or adhering, and Shema is the solutions, the water. The mem is the water. And then the ayin, that's the I at the end, for observation. So the three letters of Shema, Shem, Shin, Mem, ayin for the I, the meaning is adhere to the solutions you have observed. So all you need to be prepared to run the economy and to succeed in the economy of the ALEF-TAV is just to hear Shema Israel. Okay? So you just have to use that capacity and stop listening to all the people in the mulectic world, that change the shape of your soul to be Morpheus to whatever thing that you create, and listen to the Torah as it was given in its original form. Submerge yourself in those waters, and then you acquire the ways and journeys of God. So to adhere to the solutions you have observed. And then potentates of this principal element, that's the word Yisrael. So Shema Yisrael. So that's what you have to do. To get everything done in the world, from the character of God to everything else, you only need to listen. That's why David says, you have prepared an ear. You have prepared my ear. the part that is translated by the King James, Hebrews, you have prepared a body. Mistranslation there says you prepare my ear. Because in the Moshiach of Christianity, how many deaf people that have no hearing, did he heal? He healed people that were maimed, that have problems, paralytics, people that were blind, he brought people to life. He did a lot of healings, but how many deaf healings did he do? I don't think you will find it, not a single healing of deafness, a person that could not hear. And that's the only thing that we need. The one miracle that I don't see it in the gospel, you're going to have to, juggle my mind for that, because I don't see a hearing miracle. Somebody says, oh, I've never heard before, and I'm hearing now. I saw the blind, but I can tell you, to be able to identify with the ALEF-TAV, all you need is the hearing. And that's the one miracle you don't hear in the gospel. Because you don't need to have a miracle, but you only need that. So everything else is irrelevant. That's why the Torah says, if any other thing in oration is put before me, to have you go believe, because the job of the Mashiach is not to have you believe in himself. The job of the Mashiach is to have you listen and to raise the esteem and value that should be given to the Torah. Because from the Torah, everything emanates and goes down to everything else. Everything gets the strength and gets the idea from him. Everything is done in the right order, and everything follows suit. So the idea of the Mashiach is to establish the Torah as king above all, not himself. So I'm telling you this because that's how it is. That's in the Torah. Okay, so that's why the hearing is the only thing that is needed. And that word here, that is appearing in the Hebrew, is translated also as obey in the King James. When you say obey his commandments, that means Shema, hear his commandments, which means adhere to the solutions you have observed as Israel, as potentates, kings, prince with God. Who's God? The principal element. And so to adhere to the solutions you have observed as potentates or performers of this principal solution. That's all that is needed. Okay? And I had the whole rest of it. Shema Yisrael, Adonai, Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Well, I didn't have time to finish writing it, so I'm going to give it on the next lecture. But this is it. To make sure that this is done, all you need to do is not to be resurrected, not to be healed of the blindness, not to be healed of your maimed or anything, because people that are handicapped have jobs, people that cannot see, or people, even people that are deaf can follow the ALEF-TAV, So all these things, people that can hear. So hearing is the main thing. You see? That's all that is needed. That's why my whole thing here is to devastate the confessions of faith according to the man-made systems of politics and religion, and to establish the Torah as the only one that teaches you the admission of facts. Because everything works in the revelation of his character and in the taking care of business of everything else in the here and now. Okay, so I'm done with this. And let me take you now to get the rest of this stuff here. All right, so how we doing here? Okay, this is powerful teaching, you guys. But I'm going to establish you in the Torah, and I'm going to tell you like it is. You can study it on your own, you want. But that's the whole idea of the COVID-19-MAN. I'm here, and I let you put anything you post. I don't object. That's why I will say anything that I have discovered and how I see it, because that's what's going to be the health for your soul. So, amen. All right, how we doing here, my people? I love each and every one of you that showed up today. Let me see how many we have. Not that many, so we should have a lot of easy money. One today. All right, let me see how we're doing here. All right, I'm going to put myself all the way at the bottom. All right, so here we go. All right, perfect. We're in business to make some money. All right, so today it's only $50 each question, Next week I'm getting paid again, so then it will start. For next week I think it's going to be $80 because, we're in the new beginnings now. So $80 for the beginning of the month for next Wednesday. So next Wednesday is going to be $80. 3 prices of $80. But today is $50, all right? And so, okay, my friend. Now, let's see. For the first question, Let's see if you remember. What is the name of the author of the book that I'm promoting here, Your Own Perfect Medicine? What's the name of the author of Your Own Perfect Medicine? Let's see if anybody remembers. Because we're going to be talking about her a lot. I'm not asking you for her meaning of the name, but what's her name? It's best that you can remember right now. Because I talked a little bit about her at the beginning. What is the name? All right. Barefoot wins again. Whoa, whoa. You're paying attention, my man. Very good. Okay. Martha M. Christie. Very good. Very good. Let me just make sure I'm here with you guys. Yeah, so we have Martha M. Christie. And a lot of you know it. Also, Brian, you got it right, but you came after. Andy, close enough. You know. Boy, all of you guys know this stuff. You're paying attention. I'm so proud of you guys. But yeah, Bearfruit hit it first, so he gets that. So you're out for further participation, Bear. Congratulations on your $50 one. Okay, now, so that's $50. So we're talking about, because we're going to be talking about her, you know. So Martha M. Christie. Now, let's see. Now, this is a deeper question here now. Okay, we get back all the way to the bottom, where we have a $150 winner. Okay, let me make sure I'm all the way here. Okay, here we go. All right. Hey, Gabriela, good to see you. ¿Cómo estás, mija? Que Dios te bendiga a ti también. Ah, qué bueno que llegaste a visitarnos. Very good. So I have Gabriela Janet Flores joining us. She lives, I believe, in Tijuana. That's good to have her. All right. And, okay. Now for the next one. It's a little harder, but Bearfruit, you cannot participate on this one. Well, I'm glad that he's going to buy the book for himself. Yeah, with the winnings, you're right. I think you can get it for $14 or $20 in Amazon. You know, so you can do your own reading and your own research. So you'll be committed to do something that you know it works. And even the pharmaceutical company strongly uses it. By the way they use it, they have an admission of fact that this thing that you possess is powerful and they need it. You know, and so I'm going to be reading about that. So the next one, let me get here. Okay. Yeah. Okay. The next one, let's see, for $50 again for the next prize. Okay, did anybody remembers what's the meaning of Martha M. Christie? You know, in the Hebrew letters. I don't know. That's a very hard one. So I don't know if anybody pay attention to the meaning of Martha M. Christie in the Hebrew letters. You know, let's see who comes with the closest answer to that. So I'm going to base it on whoever comes up with the closest answer on that one. Let's see. Okay. The meaning of Martha M. Christie. Okay. Well, that's the meaning of Emuna. Because she starts with the letter M. Emuna starts with strong solution. So that's a good try. Anybody else gonna give it a try? Anointing, no. Vav Men Noon. Well, you're giving stuff from Emuna, okay? But this question has to do with the name of Martha M. Christie, okay? So somebody can say something about that. You just go on the letters of the consonants. Starts with an M, right? Then you have, and it has a resh, a head, the R. Then the T is the Tav, right? And it has an H, that's the He. So you put those together, what will you get? And then you got the Mem is the middle name, the Mem. And then you have the last name, you know. And, okay, let me give it, let me see, can I allow it to, solutions, commitment to give, well, okay. So do we have one that's close enough right now so far? So let me see if anybody comes a little better than that. Okay, but that's you get me? Okay, you're making me laugh. Okay, well, okay then, you guys. So the one that came the closest is Brianna. Okay, so Brianna, Brianna, congratulations, you get $50 because he talks about the solutions for the man are the commitments to give life. And so what you forgot is the solutions of the head to the commitment to give life. But that was close enough to the Martha there, okay? Because the solutions is for the fresh. The solutions of the head or the mindset to the commitment to give life. That's what her name Martha means, okay? And then the middle initial means solutions because it's mem, right? So the solutions of the head of the resh for the commitment to give life, solutions of Christi, and that Christi is Greek word for Messiah, Moshiach, the Messiah, the solutions of the Messiah, because with the Mashiach puts you in touch, with the Hebrew, then you have the solutions of life. So interesting, that's her name means. So it's very good. So congratulations, we have Bear Fruit and Brian and Brianna now. Okay, now the last question. Okay, Brianna and Bear Fruit, you cannot participate, but you are the winner so far of the first $250. Okay, so for the next one, okay. So I explained to you, when I was reading the last paragraph, that there's one word that appears 7,302 times, in the Hebrew alphabet, which is never translated, in English, because they also, in no language, or in Spanish or in German, it's only in the Hebrew. And this word, appears 7,302 times. Okay? Now, can anybody tell me what those letters are, or what that word is? If you can tell me that, you're going to get the next $50. What letters are we talking about? Okay. Hey! Brian Wanta! Ait! Yes. Aleph and the Tab. And the Tab. Ait, and that's how you say it when you read it in Hebrew. Ait. So that's for the Aleph and the Tab. So, yeah, he said how do you pronounce. So, Brian, all the people with the letter B win today $50. Bell Fruit, Brianna Duran, and Brian Wanta. $50. Congratulations, my friends. You're winners today. All right. Winners in life because you know the understanding of the Torah. And winners in the mule because you got some moolah. Moolah means mule, remember? You got some moolah. So you're winners in the mule and winners in the Torah because you listen to the word of your Maker. So congratulations to each and every one of you. May God continue to bless you and to grant you life, And I'm just going to get out of here with this one here. All right, let me go and put the plain one. Yeah.